the bomb got dropped upon us all, and the list of all unknowns is tall. But if there's anything we know, our stubbornness has shown, we'll climb up after any fall. We know who we are, but we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from. Leftover ashes in the sky, and the nations, all they do is fight. Yeah, the crown broke all our trust, so I guess it's up to us to save whatever's left of life. We know who we are, but we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from. But we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from. Oh, we know who we are, but we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from.
Hello everyone, this is Nameless One, and today we will be continuing the Lost Memories Second Chances campaign. I have here with me today Ice Coldness, Fiction, and I feel like there should be more, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, that's it. Before we get started, I would like to remind everybody, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, follow on Twitch, all that good stuff. More on how to support the channel at the end. For now, who would like to do my recap?
I probably should, and since it's been 3 weeks, I'll go back in extra session. Back then, we were approached by Plagueheart. He gave us some information, and he pointed us towards Frenzied Flame, along with other parts of conversation about Celestia and the fact that we can probably fix the problem with Luna because we have the solution, and possibly just have to sabotage the machinery to help Shadowfire. Ivory has started to have a crisis of faith, and then once we found Frenzied Flame, whom Plagueheart sent us to, after our conversation with him, Ivory Pyre started doing burial rites, which he approved of, but when Ivory attempted his, Frenzied got really pissed off and kind of smacked him around a bit. If it were not for Nebula stepping between the two, he probably would have killed him. And of course, after Nebula helps him, she promptly passes out. Yeah, classic Nebula. See, after that, Ivory finally lets Luna in, and she showed him a whole bunch of information, and basically has made it clear she wants to help him. Then we moved to last week, where Doc wakes up and makes conversation with the very big Karen. Pyre then checks on Ivory. They have a conversation. Rapid has a panic attack. Doc, being Doc, pokes him with a stick. Frenzied recognizes kind of why we're here when we talk about Luna and Shadowfire. He's incredibly pissed when he finds out the FPC took them. He became afraid when he found out about the King in Yellow and that it was Silvertongue. Then we headed out, and we have to be careful of snowdrifts. And we started seeing Frostworks in greater numbers. There were a couple of conversations with Frenzied while traveling. One was about the Great Schism, where the Karens kind of split up. And then talking a little bit about Nebula, he has basically made it clear that absolutely will not tell her story. So, he obviously knows something, but he's not going to say anything about it. And after that, Ivory ends up having a conversation with Pyre. He hugged her, thanked her for the earlier conversation about, trying to help him. And, kind of trying to convince him maybe you should follow Luna. I think that was about where we ended.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna assume that we left off with you guys finishing up a watch, and we're gonna go ahead and do travel. So, if
That would be perception and survival.
mm-hmm.
Perception and...
Okay.
It made the perception, failed the survival.
Okay. So, as you guys make your way, the snow in most of the areas makes it almost prohibitively difficult to travel, especially with, a walking furnace. And even with him, it's cold enough that you guys still have to keep bundled up in order to, not end up with hypothermia. And as you make your way, it becomes more and more obvious that the cold is not exactly natural. Especially when at one point a bird falls from the sky frozen solid. And it kind of gives you more of a why Plagueheart sent you this way. Of course, with Frenzied Flame being entirely on fire, he does not seem to need clothing and is unbothered by the cold. Now, go ahead and do your camp rolls.
Alright. Suppose comfort and camo.
Yeah.
Find it.
Fortification might make more sense.
Okay. And then go ahead and do the perceptions for watch.
Same order, so that would be Emerald.
I've got nothing to really add, so moving on.
Woohoo.
So, Rapid, you do not see too much of note other than the occasional sign of a frostwork nearby.
Nothing new. Next person. At least nothing new at this point.
Nothing else?
No.
Alright. Makes it my turn.
So, Pyre, as you were on watch, you noticed that just over the light of the campfire and your blazing companion, there appears to be a very rainbowy kind of light coming from the sky. It looks similar to the Northern Lights, with the notable exception that it is more rainbow in hue than what you would expect out of the Northern Lights. And seems almost somehow artificial, given the localized area with which it is associated. It is roughly the area that it is over looks about another day's travel away from you guys. What do?
I take it the Tanibus is still with us.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think I will do too much more other than kind of go over and, kind of give a quick bow and hello, and then go back to her watch, and then wake up next watch.
Which would be Ivory.
It didn't click for some reason.
Ooh, excuse me. So, you see much of the same as what I just described to Pyre, and note the same roughly day's travel away. It is quite beautiful, though.
Yeah, Ivory will just do his watch and just kind of like stare into the fire for a bit before he has to go and wake everyone up. He'll try his hand at a little bit of cooking, but he's not going to be very enthusiastic.
That role implies otherwise.
Apparently enthusiastic enough. He's just so good he doesn't have to be enthusiastic about it. They're like, yeah. Snow for a water base, random herbs for my pocket. Oops, I accidentally made a great soup. Here you guys go.
Okay. So go ahead with the travel rolls.
Kind of as we're traveling, Pyre will check in on Ivory, see how he's doing.
Do the rules first.
Okay.
Ivory will just kind of like very, very distantly be like, "Oh, I'm going."
Well, it could be worse. But, no. I'd say perk up, but this isn't exactly the situation for it. Well, let's continue on. Let's hope this doesn't go too badly. After that, she kind of trots up to Frenzied Flame as they're walking. Excuse me, but I saw some rainbow lights in the sky last night. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
He looks at you and then points up at a large formation ahead that appears to be a massive plateau that they come from up there. He doesn't seem forthcoming with much more information than that.
Well, I don't like the fact that it seems like it gets colder closer we get to that. Suppose everyone should be on their guard.
He does tell you that the faster way might be to go over it. However, there is also the chance that, it being as tall as it is, you guys have trouble getting over it. But the alternative is up to 3 to 4 days of extra travel to get around. If you're lucky. If you're unlucky, you might spend an entire week trying to get around the plateau at the size that it is.
Upon hearing that, you kind of see Pyre wringing her hooves. I really don't want to go up there, but we're on a time schedule. What does everyone else think?
We might also spend a week trying to get over the plateau. I don't think it's a sure thing that we'd be able to do it.
Alright. Valid concern. Emerald?
I'm not really sure about anything at this point.
Okay, uncertain. What do you think, Ivory?
I second Emerald's concern.
Fire kind of reaches up, pinches her muzzle and her eyes. It's just like, damn it. I don't want to waste the time, but I don't want to take too much of a risk. Damn it all. Well, I suppose I'd ask Nebula what she thinks, but does she have anything to contribute?
Nebula just kind of shrugs and says she's following you guys. This isn't her adventure to decide.
Yeah, that figures, that checks. What the hell? What do you think, Crazy Joe?
Crazy Joe points at the top of the plateau and goes, "Pretty lights."
Yeah, they are. You wouldn't happen to know if the Frostworks come from up there? Asking Frenzied.
He shakes his head and says that to his knowledge, the Frostworks came from elsewhere.
Okay. Where's that? Nothing else you can tell us?
He shakes his head.
Son of a bitch. Much as I want to go over and save time, I want to listen to the group. We can attempt to go around. I don't like it, but
Such is the throes of leader.
yeah. Alright. Let's start going around.
So you said you're going around?
Yep.
So
Alright.
I'm going to point out that right now you need to make camp before you can actually start going around.
Oh, we need to make camp first.
Yes. You
Okay.
made a day's travel, and there's not enough time for you to actually start trying to go around.
We get to sleep on it.
Yeah. Yeah, we might need to do that. If everyone could give it a good thought. Alright. I'm gonna sleep on it. Kind of goes to her sleeping bag, kind of curls up.
Okay. Do all of the camp rolls.
Right, just comfort and camo again, right?
Might as well do that, yeah. So, before she goes to sleep.
Okay. Give me just a second. Okay. So go ahead and do the watch rolls. Should be Emerald. So Emerald, the lights from the top of the plateau are almost overpowering the lights of the campfire. And it is quite beautiful. Crazy Joe's sitting over in one side of the camp just drooling up at the lights. Which is kind of odd to watch considering every time he starts it freezes. And he takes the time to clean off his face, to start drooling again, to just sit there and repeat the process your entire watch.
I just sort of like look at the growing pile of icicles on the ground next to him. Are you gonna get some sleep tonight?
He points up at the lights and goes, "Pretty late."
I wake up next watch. This is not my problem.
So you see much the same, Rapid. At this point, it's starting to be concerning, just the amount of little drool icicles that are scattered around Crazy Joe.
Kinda need to get him a blindfold next one.
Was that you telling,
Yes.
Okay, being worried and possible blindfold on her watch. Got it. Alright, let's see.
So, again, Crazy Joe's drooling up at the lights with a small portrait of the little icicles that he keeps wiping off of his face.
Did he build an igloo?
No, but he's getting there. What do?
Let's see. Tantabus is in its usual place.
The Tantipus is currently not here.
After Pyre realizes that, she kind of starts nervously looking off in the dark. Oh, that's not a good sign. Kind of does that and then goes over to Joe. You okay?
He points up at the sky and says, "Pretty lights again."
Yeah, they sure are pretty, but you do need to get some sleep.
He points at the sky again a little more frantically and says, "Pretty lights."
Pyre kind of looks at him. There's something worrying about those lights.
Do you look where he is pointing?
Yeah.
Roll will -5.
Oh, great. Will or fright?
Will.
Of course I failed that one.
So, Ivory, you wake up about the time that you should be being woken up for watch. What do?
Yeah.
Nobody has woken you up. You just wake up naturally.
Ivory will slowly get up and then kind of realize, like, Yeah, I'm not feeling good. Something seems off. So he will like lead out of his tent with his shotgun and like look around for a moment.
Your friends are both staring up at the sky, absolutely mesmerized. Crazy Joe is still drooling quite profusely, and the Kieran Pyrelite is currently also quite mesmerized, though less drool is involved.
Avery will lower the shotgun and oh, sorry, go ahead.
For Pyre, you have the overwhelming urge to go touch the lights, but also can't pull yourself to move because they're pretty. So mesmerizing. Ivory?
Ivory will like lower his shotgun and walk up to them and be like, I expected something like this out of Crazy Joe, but really, you, Firelight?
Firelight kind of briefly looks at you, points up. Pretty lights.
Would Ivory recognize anything out of this based on the tales of the different cults, or no?
This area might as well be entirely unexplored as far as your people would have been concerned, especially since you're from much farther south.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you remember, most of the time when people tried to come this way, there was an entire tribe dead set on nobody coming this way.
Yeah, Clockworkers. Ivory will, like, slowly kind of, like, look towards where they're pointing.
Well, -5.
Iron Will Ivory. Well, fuck.
So,
The will has been burping.
Emerald and Rapid, you two wake up to Nebula prodding you.
Oh, what is it?
What? Is it morning? Oh, okay.
She looks at you guys and says, "I'm somewhat concerned about your companions."
Alright,
What's wrong with
I'll
them?
take a look.
When you guys go to look at your companions, Frenzied Flame is just kind of sitting there, staring at them and occasionally poking. They seem almost unresponsive, other than to tell you guys when you come close that the lights are pretty. It's also one of those...
Lights.
Will -5. It's also one of those days where the sun has decided it will be night for a while. Is the whole party gonna
Another
get
one
stuck with
joins
this?
the ring.
Now for the team.
This is how we. Is this how we all die?
No. I have a feeling that if we all fail to will save, Frenzied Flame is just gonna drag us back home.
Or just walk away.
Yeah, he
One
might
of
just
the-
leave us.
Emerald, what do you do? Do you also look at the lights?
Yeah, that's what just happened, I think.
I said
at
it.
least Rapid had the
I said Emerald.
courtesy to do it while you were there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Emerald just sort of like sees Rapid do that and like, Alright, Rapid, what are you doing?
Well, Rapid is now unresponsive.
Checks
Okay.
out.
He's quite intrigued.
That checks out.
Pretty lights.
He actually
Decidedly
takes
not
off his
looking.
goggles so he can see it better.
Yeah, decidedly not looking at the lights. Emerald is gonna look around for something they can use as a blindfold. I don't have anything like that on my person.
Well, Ivory isn't wearing his cloak, his religious cloak.
So
Find that.
Yeah, I guess I'll look for that.
both Nebula and Frenzied Flame look up at the lights and then look back at everybody else. And Frenzied goes, "What is the matter with you people?"
Bro, this guy.
I have no idea, but they're not usually like this. Well, I take a look at Crazy Joe. He is like this.
He's
Not
always
the
like
other.
this.
It's just
So,
Anyway,
what do you?
just to speed this up, I'm gonna grab the Ivory's cloak and just kind of like throw it over his head, so he can't see what he's looking at.
Ivory, make a will -10.
minus.
Jeez.
Oh no.
Oh, is that just a 0? Oh,
For him, it's a 5.
No, it'd be a 5 for him. Missed by 6.
Ivory, you can no longer see the
Very
lights,
high.
but you need to get closer. There's something at the top of that
Oh,
plateau,
God.
and you must find what it is, because it surely must be the source of these lights.
Ivory, now blinded, will stand up and start like aimlessly wandering,
hey,
mumbling about pretty lights.
Ivory, where are you going?
Pretty lights. Let's find
Okay.
the pretty light.
Okay, I take the cloak back. You're not allowed
Ivory,
to
you
do
now
that.
know which direction you need to go. You didn't see it before, but there is a path up.
Do I still have the feeling to like just sit and stare at the lights, or is that gone now?
No, now it's replaced by the need to go and find the source.
Ivory, who still has his shotgun, is now wandering in that direction.
Fringed Flame gives an exasperated sigh, tells Emerald to get the others moving, and after scooting them closer to the fire, takes off after Ivory so he doesn't freeze to death.
Well, I guess this is our life now. I repeat the process with blinding the other two, so they just run off to the cave.
So the other two need to also make a -10 will save. I will note that a critical success can get you to snap out of it, but neither of you did that.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Now everyone's wandering towards the light.
All three of you are aware of the path, which does actually exist. It is cut into the side of the rock in such a way that if you guys had just been walking by, even if you had been searching for it, you would have missed it. But it does actually exist. And it zigzags up the side of the plateau at almost a 90-degree angle from the ground.
A lot of switchbacks.
Mm-hmm. The craftsmanship of this path, though, is quite remarkable. and it is large enough for both of the Kirin to be able to walk comfortably side by side. The big ones, not Pyre. Pyre's too short.
Unfortunately, only one of us can actually appreciate all this.
That is accurate.
For the rest of us, it's just an awfully convenient path.
Crazy Joe is also very gung-ho about finding the top of this plateau. Now, I want all of my mesmerized ones to roll a health check for me.
Where is that? There it is.
I think that's
Higher, you lose 3 points of fatigue.
Alright, well, at least I'll get that back relatively quick.
And it takes you the better part of the day to get up to the top, but you do manage to make pretty decent time. And Emerald, good God, they basically sprinted up the thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sprint back to keep up.
Yeah, Ivory's wings definitely helped him get up there.
But I will note you did need to stay in the path to get up, because at a certain point the wind was powerful enough that leaning out may have just stripped flesh from bone with the amount of cold ice and just sheer power of the wind.
Nah, the lights would protect him. The pretty lights.
Like a moth to a flame.
But yeah, when you guys get to the top, the first thing you notice is that it was remarkably less cold. This is what I'm looking for. Yeah. And the top of the plateau is very green. This is like abnormal amounts of vegetation for even like the areas that you are used to. Things are surprisingly not dead. You can hear the sounds of birds and the babbling of a brook nearby, with a remarkably small number of anything concerning. In the distance, there appears to be some sort of small town. What do? For those of you that were under the spell of the lights, you have come to your destination and feel happier for it, but you can't exactly place why.
Are they still in a trance though?
Not exactly.
Pyre's like just kind of like looking around in like just sheer wonder.
Where are you guys? Run now! Oh god. You went so fast.
Ivory will have started wandering towards the sound of the brook, trying to find it.
It's not hard to find, and the water is clean and clear.
Ivory will drink from it.
It tastes quite sweet without being suspicious. This is probably the cleanest water you have ever seen without there being a Kelpie involved.
And someone getting their face punched in. Ivory will drink really from it. Then after he's full, he will just kind of look around and be like, "Is it the single most beautiful thing I've ever seen?"
It is kind of pretty here, I have to admit. Is this, like, full-on ghost town?
Well, you guys aren't at the town. The town is... it's close enough to be seen, but far enough that you wouldn't be able to notice if there are people in it. Although there are lights coming from there. Lights of, like, campfires and lanterns and such.
I could have swore Ivory had a scope of some kind, but apparently not.
Fire does.
Oh. See if there are people there. See if there are ponies.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably should do that. Fire kind of starts wandering towards the town.
He'll wander with her.
As you are making your way through, something about this place kind of is just generally uplifting. You feel lighter and as if great burdens had been pulled off from you. There is the sense that something about it, like this sudden change of mood, is not quite right. But the sense of belonging and the warmth of the area just kind of almost overrides it. So you guys are headed for the little town?
Yeah.
With Ivory being paranoid, can he try and, like, find something with what he's seeing? Like, if there's any, like, allusion to it? Try and parse it out?
You can make a perception check. Try as you might, you don't really find anything that's, like, overly suspicious. It's just something is not quite right. But you can't place a hoof on it. And, like, the sensation of it almost makes you wish that you didn't feel that way.
Yeah, Ivory especially right now, wants to find a bit of belonging. So I guess he just kind of lulls back in and continues off towards the village with everyone else.
So as you guys approach, you can hear the sound of a lighter music. You guys are used to occasionally finding, as Wastelanders, finding members of various groups that play music. Especially the followers of the twin goddesses. But this has a different quality to it, because many of those still have a certain somber note, almost as if they can't escape the wastes. But this music feels different. It's got none of the somberness, none of the miserable tone. And the more you move about, the more you kind of feel like you stepped into a whole different world. Eventually, when you get to the town itself, you see creatures of all varieties and descriptions. However, half of them seem to be just straight up see-through, while others are largely normal. Like, alarmingly so. Like, there's nothing strange about the ones that are entirely intact. What do?
Prior, still kind of in wonder, just starts wandering around, looking at things.
Same whatever.
The townspeople, as you come in, look at you guys and especially seem to be caught by the hair of large Kieran, and they surround you guys with a frankly just baffling lack of fear. The Kieran of the group seem especially excited about the two taller Kieran, and you were just inundated with like questions of where you're from and who you are, comments that they haven't seen guests in years.
Pyre kind of like gets on her rear hooves and kind of waves her hooves down. Now everybody calm down, please. You're all friendly, but well, kind of like to know what the hell's going on.
Ivory is going to ironically take a complete opposite approach, and anyone like coming to him and asking him questions and like finding some amount of like interest and validation in him, he's immediately going to start like spilling everything out and being very like, oh my god, this is so perfect.
So Ivory pretty much immediately gains a captive audience as they're listening to his stories. Fire, you basically get ignored. Because somebody is telling a story, they need to hear it.
Pyre kind of rolls her eyes and starts looking for any outliers.
There's an especially old-looking unicorn standing off to one side, stroking his beard.
Pyre is going to approach that one.
He gives you a warm smile and gives you a welcome.
Oh, howdy there, old timer. My name's Firelight. What's your name?
He chuckles and tells you that he's had many names over the years, but he's prefer to remain anonymous for now.
Alright. Understandable. Where I'm from, people want to stay strangers. But, where exactly are we?
He looks at the group of citizens all crowded around the storytelling Ivory, and then tells you that here is not the place. If you would like to speak more, he can take you to his home. And he looks over at the other two as well when he says that.
Air kind of looks in their direction and raises an eyebrow.
That would be Rapid and Emerald. Are you guys joining?
Yep.
Sure.
Alright. Fire kind of walks up to Nebula and just kind of quietly asks her, could you keep an eye on him?
She gives you a knowing smile and says that she believes that you guys are in safe hooves. But she will make sure he doesn't do anything stupid.
Thanks for that. And me just being a worrywart. And kind of walks off.
So, as you guys make your way, he leads you to a cozy-looking little cabin. And once inside, he closes the door behind you guys and asks how the outside world is doing.
Fire's ears immediately droop. Not well.
He nods and sighs, saying that every time they have a newcomer, it's always the same before sitting down.
Emerald shrugs. It's kind of just always been horrible.
He nods and, with a somewhat tearful look, just kind of mumbles an apology.
Why are you apologizing?
He seems to catch himself and shakes his head and says, don't mind me, I'm just saddened.
Yeah, I suppose getting constant bad news from the outside will do that. But, back to what I asked originally. Where exactly are we?
His expression changes from the somewhat sorrowful look after you guys' news to a more pleasant one as he tells you that this town is the last... He describes it as the last bastion of Equestria. A place where the war never touched. And that the two sisters made sure that prosperity would remain for as long as ponies lived here. He does note that unfortunately the caliber of spell used and the ponies required to cast it, isn't likely that something like this exists anywhere else in the world at this point. But this little slice of heaven, as he calls it, is where they have lived for... He pauses and then says, centuries at this point.
Centuries. Oh, I know ponies can get old, but I don't think I've ever heard of a pony that old.
He gestures out at the people outside and says, "They're not."
Really? So, you've been here for centuries, they have not.
He nods and tells you that he was left here to protect the place and maintain what little maintenance he was capable of doing with the spell.
And that spell. That have anything to do with the lights we saw in the sky?
He nods and says that it's a beacon of sorts.
Yeah, sure as hell got our attention.
He tells you that those with evil intent can't see it, and thus most creatures don't even know that this place exists. But those that the spell deems as non-harmful to the citizens get essentially welcomed in.
I look around. Well, Frenzied Flame and I don't know, he didn't react when he looked. Neither did Nebula.
He immediately chuckles and says, "That's because gods are unaffected by it."
Gods.
The Alicorns aren't the only deities that existed back then. In fact, this mountain is home to several.
Really?
He nods and points in the direction that you guys had traveled from and says, "My understanding is Queen Chrysalis, though changed she might be, lives in that direction, and we have others that live in," he gestures in the direction that you guys will be heading, in the Crystal Empire. Or what's left of it, at least.
Bear kinda scratches her chin. The only thing that would kinda fit that description would be the giant spider thing that tried to get us.
He nods and tells you that that was indeed Queen Chrysalis.
Damn. Yeah, very glad we decided to not mess with her.
He tells you that she had returned during the war and attempted to protect her changelings, but much like many of the other gods, the war took its toll.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Looking at the state of the world as it is, imagine so. Given magic barely works, if at all.
He nods, saying that despite many of their best efforts, the gods did not manage to stop any of what was happening. The hubris and pride of many of them being their downfall. Others simply trusting too much. And mentions something about an insidious horse that brought low the majority of the equestrian monarchy.
Wonder if the King in Yellow had something to do with that.
He gives you a blank look of confusion.
Right. He had another name before he became that. I think it was Silverton?
He immediately starts laughing and says, "That's impossible. Silvertongue only had the best of intentions for Equestria."
Pyre is looking straight at him.
Well,
The pony you saw going out there got killed by him. I mean, he got better, but a big price was paid for it.
He looks skeptical, but seems to decide not to press the subject.
well, they say the path to Tartarus is paved with good intentions.
He heaves a weary sigh and nods, seeming to not have any words to reply to that.
Pyre's kind of scratching her chin again before she stops. You said Frenzied Flame and Nebula were gods. Well, I can definitely see why Frenzied Flame's got war, but what is Nebula?
He shrugs and tells you that he was largely making a guess based off of her size, because historically, to his knowledge, most taller individuals tended to be deities when it came to Kirin, just like the Alicorns dwarfed many ponies in size.
Right. Oh, probably something in her past she's not aware of. No. Suppose I should kind of go down my list of usual questions when we find someone who doesn't look like they'll obviously betray us. Do the names Luna and Shadowfire mean anything to you?
He looks very sad as he tells you that both names are very familiar to him, and also mentions that Luna is part of the reason that this place exists.
Fire immediately kind of perks up at that.
He tells you that Luna and Celestia worked together to weave the spell that protects the place. Much to the chagrin of Twilight, who was not told until it was way too late for her to be involved. Saying that their logic was that things were not going well in the land of Equestria, and that they wanted to ensure that there would be somewhere for ponies to escape to. though it didn't work quite as well as they had hoped, given that other things began happening at the same time. And he had heard rumors that Celestia had disappeared.
With that, there is a flinch and an immediate plummet in Pyre's demeanor, and almost to the point where her head is to the floor.
He seemed very confused as he asked you what's wrong.
Kind of as he continues to watch, he sees that she's crying. We found her.
He seems very confused as he said, but this seems like joyous news.
Pyre looks up, and she's just got this absolutely agonized, emotional face. We killed her.
He sits down hard as he just kind of stares and finally just whispers, "She's dead?"
We didn't want to do it, but he was being put into one of the god engines, and we didn't know how else to stop it. Lady of Ash would have laid waste to the entire world, and at the time it seemed like the only thing we could do.
He stares for a good while before whispering to you guys that he would like some time alone and gesturing at the door.
As Pyre lifts herself up and starts heading that way. Now, if you need some good news, we're trying to find and rescue Luna. Celestia made it damn clear we needed to do that.
He doesn't seem to respond as he gestures at the door again. At this point, he's got his back to you.
Pyre stands by the door frame. I hope we can talk more later, and I hope you can forgive me. And then she leaves.
I'm assuming the other two leave as well.
Yep.
So, for Ivory, in your storytelling, you get a few stories in exchange, so you know that Luna and Celestia are the reason this place exists. You don't know as much about like what the rest of the group was told, but Luna and Celestia seem to be held in very high regard here.
Yeah, Ivory in his story tries to pick like the best stories that he can remember, embellishing a little bit to keep it a bit lighter. A lot of his stories are very grim and dark, so he holds back quite a lot. And on like exchanging stories and hearing about Celestia and stuff, he goes a little quiet, but he tries not to damper the mood that has been created around him.
Do you have acting?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll that for me. So you are able to hold it together enough to prevent the excited townsfolk from noticing your change of mood whenever you hear the mention of Celestia.
Yeah. Yeah, Ivory will try to try his best to, like, obviously allow them to do their stories, but when it comes time for him to trade one back, he tries to avoid talking about Celestia or any of his more recent journeys. A lot of the stories he talks about are going to be very idealistic ones about, like, his mother and stuff.
There's lots of stories that are getting exchanged that talk about the heroism of some of the more important figures of Equestria, which actually include characters that you haven't heard of before. There's one that tells a story of an individual known as the Baron. Shadowfire gets mentioned several times, along with two companions of his whose names you didn't know up until now. Though one of them mentions that the one circling Canterlot and creating the Canterlot barrier is in fact Gaster. And there was one particular... she was a Pegasus, but she seems absolutely enamored by the love story between Luna and Shadowfire.
Yeah, Ivory will pay specific attention to those involving Shadowfire.
The group that's around you seems to hold all of these names in very high regard, though it is made obvious that while the individuals like the Baron, Plagueheart, Shadowfire, Celestia, Luna, and a few others are deities, others are just considered heroes. You're also told of the origin of the Ponytown, or the Ponyville crater. You find out that it was the attack that started the war, that it killed both Rarity and Pinkie Pie, which are two individuals that are also held in very high regard by this group. They note that it is getting close to time for food, and as your companions rejoin you, you guys are practically dragged to a large communal, like, think of it like a mead hall, essentially. And just the most delicious smelling foods are laid out in front of you. Vast majority seems vegetarian in nature, though there is some meat dishes for some of the creatures that don't have primarily vegetarian diets. But do you guys tuck in, or do you abstain from the food?
Pyre's gonna...
Ivory's gonna eat.
Yeah, Pyre's gonna, kind of look over everything, but yeah, she's gonna eat.
Nez, what did you say?
I don't see a reason not to eat.
Okay. And I'm assuming, Rapid, you doing the same?
Forgot I was muted. Yes, I will be partaking. It's been a long time since we've had some good, fresh food.
This meal is probably the best meal you have ever had in your lives. They use spices that you've never had before. They use all kinds of dishes that you'd never even heard of, with fruits and vegetables that you've never seen before, and it's all prepared flawlessly. Afterwards, you guys are taken to places that they say that they have open beds, and they in fact have beds, which for some of you, the closest you've seen to a bed is a molding mattress.
Wow. Luxury without health problems?
Yeah.
What will they think of next?
So do you guys head to sleep?
Yeah. So,
Ivory will get his coat back from Emerald before heading to bed, since Emerald had used it to blind him and then blind the others.
Yeah, you can have that. It's yours.
Thank you.
you can definitely tell that pretty much through the whole thing. Pyre was definitely still under the effects of the happiness, but there was a very deep sadness about her the entire time.
In opposite, Ivory seems completely delusioned with this little slice of paradise. Even before everything went down, he's never looked so energized. Like, he is almost an entirely different person here.
So in the morning, you guys are brought back out, and the older unicorn that the rest of the group had been talking to comes out and says, "Well, I wouldn't mind you staying here. Based off of what we were told, you guys have things that you must do."
Yeah, we definitely do.
Yeah. And, don't want to bring the mood down myself. I got a penance to pay.
He steps to you and rests his horn against yours as he says, "I'm sure she forgives you, but I would recommend that you try your hardest not to fail this time."
Pyre kind of takes a step back. She has gratitude in her expression, kind of nods, and then puts on a resolved face. I intend to.
He gives you a tired smile and says that they will stock your group with a week's worth of food and better cold weather gear. But that's all that they can offer. The people that live here are not fighters. The spell is what keeps them safe, and he is not going to send any of his people into danger.
I don't think that would help us very much, even if you did. Thank you, love.
He nods,
Yes.
and you guys are given rations that include dried fruits and meats and things like that. Each of you have a week's worth, and you are also, they replace the cold weather gear that you did have with something that looks like it was crafted by a master craftsman. before we go any further, I think this may be a decent point to put a pin in it. And we will pick it up with you guys at the when you leave the safe area. We good with that?
That sounds good to me.
Yep.
Okay, for those of you that may or may not still be watching, if you enjoyed that and would like to see more of it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, follow on Twitch, all that good stuff. The best way, if you would, to show further support to the channel is to check out my Patreon, check out the Twitch subs, even the YouTube memberships. Big thank you to my Priest tier Patreons, Cameo Shadows and Ice Crystal. But like I've said before, I could not continue doing this without y'all's help, so I greatly appreciate any and all support that you can give. Even if that's just subscribing, liking, commenting, all that good stuff. Other than that, we should be live again tomorrow with Heart of Darkness. But until then, everybody have a great day, and don't forget to drink water.
Hydrate.
Bye, everyone.
Well, the bomb got dropped upon us all, and the list of all unknowns is tall. But if there's anything we know, our stubbornness has shown, we'll climb up after any fall. We know who we are, but we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from. The leftover ashes in the sky, and the nations, all they do is fight. Yeah, the crown broke all our trust, so I guess it's up to us to save whatever's left of life. We know who we are, but we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from. But we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from. Oh, we know who we are, but we still don't know who named us. Yeah, we know where we are, but we don't know where we came from.